What is mobility? I see it's all the rage. It's everywhere. It's on my Instagram feed. It's on my Facebook feed. I see it on TikTok. What is this? Well, in today's Monday Lunch Live, we're going to cover that. So if that's something you've been thinking and wondering, stick around. We'll get into that in today's episode. So my name is Ryan Sanders. I am the owner and lead coach of Project Fresh, and we do this every Monday at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. For over the last 13 years, actually going into 14 years now. Over the weekend, we had our official coaching anniversary. I've helped people take control of their health and specialize specifically in optimizing performance and building sustainable habits that stick. My background is a certified strength and conditioning specialist, as well as a certified sports nutrition coach. And with that, I've had the opportunity to work with everyone from athletes to busy professionals, coaching them through the science and the real world challenges of fitness and nutrition. So here I share the stories, the lessons, and the systems that make long-term wellness possible. And that's what it's all about is it possible? Recently had a client who shared with us that we demystify those were his words, to demystify the ability to get in better shape, to eat, to do all the things that allow us to have the best health, to have the best wellness, right? The best physical abilities. A lot of us like to go out and do activities, right? Whether it's hiking, biking, swimming, surfing, riding. I already said that. High rocks is a new one recently. Excuse me, that's all the rage that I'm finding out. A lot of people are doing the Spartan Decas. They see something like, I want to go do that. Some people it's the long distance runs and bikes. Some people it's the strongman or the powerlifting or the Olympic lifting, whatever floats your boat. You want to be able to go and do that what's the word I'm after? There's a word I want specifically. It's not unhinged. That's the word that wants to come out without any thing to hold you back. There's another word there, but anyway. So what is this whole thing about mobility then for our topic today? I see these 5, 6, 7, 8 different companies popping up on my Instagram or my Facebook talking about mobility, and they're doing all these cool moves and they're able to move their bodies in ways that I wish I could even do 50% of that. What the heck does this mean? Well, in the world of AI and Google, if you were to jump into your Google and get the summary of Gemini, it would tell you something like mobility is the ability to move freely and control body position. So what does that look like? So I move. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I move without any restrictions. I move without any impingements. And so in that context, I do not have joints like the knees or the back or the shoulders, for example, or the feet. Those are all primary and regular challenges. Impinging, there's a word it's going to come to me before the end of the lunch live today, I swear. I am unhindered anyway, my movement is flowing. There we go. The movement is flowing. It is not having any challenges. It's not segmented. It's not painful. It's not stiff. I can move freely. I don't even have to think about it because I feel so good, right? In my movement. And then controlling body position. How do I keep myself in a position? Got a lot of people like to play golf, like to run, recreationally like to hike. And these are the things we don't think about, but am I swinging the golf club in a way that is purposeful and with control? And if I'm, say, getting coaches to assist me on this, am I able to adjust my body in a way that will adjust to the coaching I'm getting? Or am I finding that my shoulder is preventing me from putting myself into that more square posture across the shoulders? If I'm running, my foot strike pattern, am I compensating in how I run because my knee or my hip's giving me trouble, or my hip flexors really tight because I'm sitting 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day in my chair stuck to my computer typing away, right? Insert cat emoji slamming the keyboard right here, right? If I had an editor, that would have been perfect. But ultimately, that is what mobility is. Now you can get into more things like physical capabilities, the ability to progress yourself. You're at a certain level and you're finding that there are impingements um, that are preventing you from progressing in whatever you're doing. Like my wife and I, for example, are doing Olympic weightlifting. So we're finding that there's stuff in the hips and the shoulders that are currently impinged or not conditioned or not mobile enough, where we're now working on mobilizing and strengthening in those positions to be better prepared for more weight in our lifts. Whatever it is, ultimately, this has been something that's really come to market, I think, in the last year and a half, 2 years. And so I wanted to speak to it in the context of what is it, first and foremost, point number one. Number two, why is it important? Well, all of us want to be able to live a not only just long life or whatever time you want to live, but also have what we call a good health span, right? The quality of health in those days. I heard a story late last week, by a coach that's in this new contract we have, which is mobility training related. And she shared a story about someone that she came across when she was in her clinical side as a physical therapist, a gentleman that was, I believe, a billionaire. And he was having some very hard, challenging difficulties in his life. And it came to a point where he was diagnosed as terminal, that his time was short. And he said, "This is the first time in my life where my money can't pay for something." And that thing happened to be the longevity, the lifespan and the health span of basically his existence, right? And so, yeah, even if you're an individual that has resources to always be able to cover things, if you do not spend the time on mobility, or what we say here at Project Fresh is joint ability, it's an umbrella of all the things our body can do: stability, mobility, balance, range of motion, flexibility, all the different things that we talk about in the context of our body's ability. It does have a direct impact. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people go to the hospital, get into the sick care system. We don't call it healthcare. It's you go and you're sick, right? Unless it's preventative, more or less. And they did not employ better eating habits. They did not employ better movement patterns on a consistent basis. And as a result, they're finding themselves in front of a doctor, a team of physicians, having the discussion around something that is otherwise preventable with other habits. And it's difficult, but it's increasing in our experience here in the United States. So that's why something like mobility or just joint ability in general is really important. And even if you're not in front of doctors, you may have the experience of, well, you know what? I'm not moving the way I'd like to. I'm not, even if I'm just getting around the house, my back is constantly aching. My knees are constantly sore and hurting and speaking to me. My shoulders, we just got done with Thanksgiving. Maybe picking up that stack of plates in your hands and your shoulders are giving you a lot of feedback that's not positive, right? As you go to set the table, those are the things that mobility plays into: moving freely, controlling the body position, operating in a way that you can go about life pain free, right? Free mobility and pain free. So it really does apply. And we talked last week about why does it matter. So if you find that question popping up, why does it matter anyway? Why should I even put the effort in? Go check out our video from last week. But with that being said, number three, how does this apply for us as far as Project Fresh? Well, that's exactly what we focus on. We've got both experience, certifications, and lots of examples, tons of examples, anecdotes, stories, systems in play, developed and designed for our clients to continue to have that focus of getting a little bit better. Some of our clients are more advanced for now. They're working on how do they find that 1%. Some of our other clients are like, I'm barely at 15%. So we have we have a lot of ways to go to even get to 50% right now. So wherever you fall in that spectrum, there's always something we can work on to enhance our body's ability to move freely, right? And with that, what does moving freely provide? Provides less drain on your body as far as energy goes. When you're tight, when you're stiff, when your muscles are spasming or cramping up on you on a regular basis, that takes a lot of energy out of you. I was just having that conversation with a client in the session before this, not even 20 minutes ago. Feeling fatigued, feeling tired, muscles are cramping throughout the weekend, waking them up in the middle of the night kind of thing. Anybody experience that? We're zapping our energy. We're probably not getting the resources we need just in general to move about our day. If you have a long, busy week of activity and exercise, weather is good, you're feeling good, you go and you play. Pickleball, tennis, golf, whatever it is, those are the ones that come to mind often. My runners and triathloners are usually a little bit better about water and electrolytes, just because they're used to replenishing from all the sweating. Those that are more other recreations outdoors, not so much, but that's okay. It's practice. It's getting the right nutrition and supplementation if you need it, which we have here at Project Fresh. But ultimately, it's developing that rhythm that keeps you in play versus peak of fun and then trough of pain and strain, right? It is a lifestyle. It's not just about the end game. How do I do till the end of my days? It's how do I enjoy myself through those days that I get? Because of course we don't know how many days we get, but we want those to be the best days possible that we can, right? So long story short, that's where we get into it. We have the specifics in all the joint ability areas. We have the specifics in getting you stronger, more muscle tissue, which of course we've talked a lot about. Making sure those muscles are strong and capable for the years to come, because that is a key marker of longevity. Look at any of the current physicians who are getting into these topics that are, on podcasts and coming across our feeds. Huberman, Atia, Lyons. Oh my goodness, is her name Susan? There's another physician. I saw her content last week. I'm forgetting her name. Workman, maybe, it's right on the tip of my tongue, but all the physicians who are speaking about this on a platform of some kind are talking about the importance of muscle mass, of strength, of VO2 max, your cardiovascular ability, heart and lungs, getting up a flight of stairs without even thinking about it, right? Breath doesn't go up too much. You're off and moving, doing your thing, versus taking 5 stairs and you're already like feeling it, right? That's a vast difference. Those 3 things are predicated on your experience, and not just the length, but also the quality of the life you get to live. So that's what we get into heavily here. For point number 3, we do this post every single week, Monday at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So 11 on the West Coast, 2 p.m. on the East Coast, intentionally so. For those who are coming into lunch, having lunch, or those who are starting to feel those lunches and on a Monday, right? That 2 p.m. slump kicking in. And so we wanted to do this to make sure it was timely for the day. So if you have a moment to jump in live with us, you see this retrospect, come join us live. Come drop some comments in the chat. We always leave this open to if there's specifics you'd like us to cover. I jokingly tell my clients I'm an Encyclopedia Britannica of so much knowledge and wisdom and information, constantly listening to those who are continuing to push the edge on standards and get us into more of a proficient and appropriate or applicable standard for health, right? This isn't just something to be cool. This isn't something to say, look at me. This really is a matter of the quality of health you have. I've got 2 parents I've watched have challenges with their health related to their habits over the years. And I'm sure you have somebody in your family who's probably had to go through the healthcare system at some point along the way. And it's not fun to watch. It's not fun to be party to. It's definitely not fun to experience yourself, right? So that's why we're here, is to assist you in reducing the risk of having to deal with that. And there are tangible data, scientific, clinically backed data out there that shows the risk, the increase in risk based on the way you eat or don't eat, and the increase or decrease of risk based on how you eat, don't eat. And then the same with your movement patterns, the increase of risk of those all-cause mortality diseases, heart disease, cardiovascular, blood sugar related diseases, type 1, type 2, type 3 diabetes. The theory of type 3 diabetes will really take you for a spin, especially if you know anybody dealing with Alzheimer's or dementia. And then we have our gut health as a factor in that. We've got inflammation of the body that relates to cancer, which is just becoming more and more a thing. So in that context, that's what we do here, and I'll end there. Again, we do this every Monday, 12 p.m. So if you have any questions, drop those in the comments. We're going to wrap up. We've got the 22nd next week. I think that will be our last one for the year, just kind of an end of year summary, where we'll talk about just a couple different things to think about going into the new year. We don't necessarily believe that you have to have goals at the beginning of the year. We're definitely not one of those companies that do the new year, new me thing. We believe more in lifestyle versus the yo-yo effect, which often happens on January 1st through those first, I forget how many days it is, 7, 8 days. There's an official day called Quitter's Day. And we talked about that at the beginning of this year, where people get in the gym, they put themselves on a plan, and by day 8 or whatever it is, all of a sudden they're quitting and right back to habits. That's not going to get you anywhere. That's often a waste of time and money. And our focus is to start you off where you are. If you've got very little time, then we're starting small. If you got a little bit more time, want to do a little bit more in your day to day, great. That's fine. But consistency is what matters most. You sticking with it from week 1 till week 26 in 2026. And then from week 26 till week 52 in 2026, you get that full year cycle, right? You get that whole opportunity, that full year. You've encountered everything that you would encounter from the end of the holidays to the beginning and end of the holidays again at the end of the year. The summertime, your travel cycle, the weddings, vacations, graduation cycle, right? May, June, July, May, June series, part of the year. You get the dog days of the summer, and then all of a sudden the kick back up in the fall. And that little sprint to the holidays, right? You get that full cycle in. You've tested and challenged yourself in everything you can experience in a year. That is a solid first milestone in what we call consistency. Not day 8, not day 21, not even day 60. We're looking for the full 365, and we're here to support you in every single one of those days. So that being said, my name is Ryan with Project Fresh. We'll see you guys on the next one. Hope you have yourself a phenomenal week. And Christmas is literally a week from Thursday, if you can believe it. So if you guys don't catch us on the next one, a very Merry Christmas to you, a happy holiday, a happy New Year. You guys have a wonderful rest of your year, and we'll see you here next time.